Just had another one show up about my 1 o'clock, about 1,000 feet high, zipping towards us and then back out towards the ocean. It's red in color.
In my backyard, there's all these cops everywhere, fire trucks, and there's people over here. I don't know what's going on. And also, there's something in the sky that I think is...
What the hell? Okay, something's going on. Something's going on. What is that next to it? A part of me is starting to maybe think, like, that red drone is someone's drone. Like, someone here putting it up, like police or something like that. And the one above it is the unidentified drones. I don't know. That's not accurate. I am just saying my theory, because that red drone is really low. It's kind of weird.
Guys, there's 3 versions of what's going on over New York and New Jersey with these drones. Version 1 being pushed by there's gigantic drones. They're scanning the area looking for missing radioactive material, apparently. That's version 1. Then we've got the other version where you go online and look at just random videos and people talking about what they're seeing down in New Jersey and New York. And they're seeing looks like drones trying to approach orbs, and these orbs are going in and out of the ocean. I don't know whether these orbs are being launched from a ship in the waters, but people are saying there's nothing out there. They're literally coming out of the water into the sky, and then these gigantic drones, what they're seeing with their own eyes is drones trying to approach these orbs or trying to scare away these orbs. And these orbs are coming in and out of the ocean. It's mental, mate, right? That's version 2. Version 3 is that, and this one doesn't make sense to me because it's like 2 events happening at once. People think that these orbs in the sky are just plasma balls and it can all be explained easily. These energy plasma balls are just floating in the sky and people are mistaking them for UFOs, UAPs, USOs. What are the chances of gigantic drones for the first time ever being seen driving over the seas of New Jersey and New York, but at the same time they're doing this, there's these mental plasma orbs, mate, just hovering about, flapping about, and these drones are just there as well. What's the chances of those 2 happening at the same time when we never see either? Guys, this video is sick. There's so much amazing content here to watch today. This next bit is Joey Diaz. And Joey Diaz, 5 years ago on Joe Rogan's podcast, mentioned that New Jersey and New York were the hotspot, #1 hotspot in the world for UFO sightings. 5 years ago. And this is the clip here about 5 years ago talking about this, and then all of a sudden, boom, something happens. You know, people living in that area could obviously see this coming because they were seeing stuff that
nobody's crazy into UFOs. He's like one of the main celebrities they pull up when people start talking about like UFO real believers. He's done like little clips where he narrates things. UFO he fucking believes.
Well, didn't they just release that there's even more belief now about UFOs?
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know if it's real, but it's fun. That's how I feel.
Doug, I did a podcast with Jim Florentine, and I explained to Jim Florentine that what people don't know is that Hudson County, New Jersey, northern New Jersey, is the #1 place in the country where they have the most UFO sightings.
Really? Northern New Jersey.
Look it up, Jamie, if you get a minute, please, not to be rude.
But isn't that like near a couple airports?
No, it's closer to like you know, like when you live in New York City and you look at the Hudson River.
Mm-hmm.
They say that people go on their balcony, they're drinking coffee, they're talking on the phone, and they'll see a little flying saucer go by.
Really?
And I know for a fact that in 1976,
A little one?
they are. I know for a fact that in 1975 and 1976, you could check me out on this. A UFO landed in Hudson County Park. I was a kid, and the next day the feds locked off the park. They had yellow tape. They had samples. Go look it up, dog. There's a UFO. You see that's called, North Bergen is where I'm from. That's called, I forget what it's called, but it's a circular building. So they did something there in the 80s. They called it the Grinder. That's what they called it because it was shaped like the Stonehenge. The Stonehenge. I have a couple friends that lived there. People that lived in that building have seen UFOs on YouTube. There's an actual North Hudson Park UFO. Wow. They dug up, they came out to there's a liquor store. And the liquor store guy says he's seen the lights. Mm-hmm. You heard like the organ music, like they play. Ooh. They landed. A couple Martians got out and took samples and got back in the thing and took off. There's a YouTube thing. There's a History Channel special about it. And I still remember being a young kid.
Did you find anything, Jamie?
That was what's popping up. All that stuff about that building and.
Oh yeah, no.
Is there anything that says a UFO landed?
That's the story I'm reading right now. Is what he's saying. Yeah.
And witnesses. You know, it's not just one guy that says, "I know UFO." It's people who got knocked on the door and said, "Did you see anything at 11:10 at night?" And they said, "You know what? There were lights flashing outside." They contacted police departments to see if there was any. They went full. Then the FBI came in, circled the park. It was by the Little League field in Hudson County. But it is like you'd think it was Area 51. You'd think it was close to northern Las Vegas. The number one place to see UFOs is northern New Jersey. They even made a reference to it in The Sopranos when he said something. He goes, "What are you talking about? Last week you said you seen a UFO in Hackensack." Because that's where they're at. Hackensack, Moonachie. Right. Those. You go to Moonachie, New Jersey, a lot of ugly people. A lot of people with big heads. The only good thing in Moonachie is a Spanish restaurant. It's been there since 19 Schlemensky. I don't know. But that's the only good thing about Moonachie. I think those people in Moonachie have been abducted. There you go. And they put them back as big
51 UFO sightings in 2018. You get biased because the story is always some person in the woods and they get abducted. They see a UFO in some strange town in the middle of nowhere. The aliens land and abduct people. You always think about it being a rural thing. But if I was an alien, of course I'd go to New York City. Of course I'd go to New Jersey. You want to go see the craziest thing we have? You got like 7 million in comparison to the rest of the planet. Stuff stacked on top of each other. Awesome, amazing buildings. All these lights at Times Square. Look at all these people mulling around, traveling over these bridges to get to this one hub, this one hive of humanity. Of course, if I was an alien, I would check that out. Why would I look at a barn? He said that though tracking equipment, radar, and infrared cameras on his aircraft detected UFOs both times, he was unable to capture them on his helmet camera.
Graves, whatever. A squadron of UFOs followed his Navy strike group up and down the eastern coast of the U.S. for months. I read something about the Hudson River, that all those people that live across the Hudson River, whether on the Weehawken and Edgewater side or the west side of Manhattan, those are where the people...
We did have issues with them when we went to the Middle East, Lieutenant Graves said. Imagine them following the war. Imagine if they were aliens and they came down to follow the war. So they see the war going on in Iraq,
how crazy
Afghanistan. They come down and they're checking it out.
Just to go on the cynical side of this, they're not necessarily saying they are an alien ship. They're saying it's a UFO, so it's something they're not sure of.
Body language here when he's being asked about drones. You know his language when he's playful. You know his language when he's having fun. You know his language when he's prepared for tough questions. None of those body language are you going to feel here. But I want you to watch this, not from what he's saying. Watch his mannerisms. And tell me, if you're a poker player, what vibe does he have? Rob, if you can play. Again, it's about drones. Watch this clip. Go for it,
Good
Rob.
to see you. Good to see you.
Being friendly.
All the drones that are flying around New Jersey and ports. It seems like the American people have...
Watch his body language.
Look, our military knows where they took off from,
If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you shoot them down?
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend
finding these systems, or they're not working the issue because there isn't an issue there to work.
So the thing that I had heard was that it was a missing nuke from Ukraine, and if that was the case, what could they do? Is there any truth to this idea that we have the type of drone capability that we could send these things out and they would search for gamma radiation and they'd be able to find a nuke? Is that?
So there are teams that respond to those types of potential emergencies, typically within the Department of Energy. Having potentially hundreds of drones flying around trying to identify these isn't necessarily the best way. Gamma radiation is typically well shielded in weapons. And at very high altitudes or even moderate altitudes, like we're seeing these objects, it would be pretty difficult to detect them. And the way that NIST, the DOE, typically operates in this environment is ground-based teams searching for radiation itself. So it's not necessarily consistent with how they would do it to begin with. And then based off of that other information, that's what leads me to believe that's not the case.
Well, that makes me feel better, because I was freaking out this weekend.
You recently suggested that these drones are looking for something, even floating out the idea that it could be radioactive materials out of a piece of medical equipment that just went missing in New Jersey, a piece of equipment that scans for cancer. Do you really believe that, sir?
I truly do believe it. For about 7 days now, I've been saying that the drones that we're seeing over our critical infrastructure here in New Jersey. And then since then, we've talked about the drones that are flying back and forth in a grid-like formation. There's only one reason why these things are out there on patrol. It's because they're either looking or sniffing for something. And I've been saying for 7 days now, truth and transparency is the best way to quell any conspiracy theories on social media. And we've been asking for that and getting no answers here at the local level.
What proof do you have that this could be linked to searching for radioactive materials?
So I know everything that the state knows. When we got a briefing about 7 days ago, the state told us everything that they know, which is that we do have assets that are up in the sky. After that, when you factor in that they are back and forth in a grid-like format, they're not up there taking pictures, we know that. They're not up there mapping, we know that, because that only takes a few minutes. We've all done that here at the local level. It allows you to speculate as to what they're doing. I've now concluded to the fact that I do believe that remains is that what exactly are they doing? The only thing that you can draw from that is that they're searching or sniffing or looking for something.
Up unsolicited, and your claims. This is what she had to say, and I want your reaction on the other side.
The assertion that this could somehow be related to nuclear material is the gravest idea that's out there, and I have seen zero evidence of that, and would caution the public to be extremely skeptical of those kinds of theories.
Yeah, to Laura and to others like her who say that this kind of theory of yours is just adding to the hysteria and the chaos.
Well, forgive me if I don't necessarily believe a CIA operative. That's the first thing. The second thing is, once you do realize that we have drones that are up in the sky, listen, I lived through the Bush era threat level warnings, okay? We all remember the different color codes, and when you hit a certain color code, you do certain things. There's no doubt in my mind that we have assets that are up in the sky hovering over our critical infrastructure. That's fine. That's actually comforting, because I don't think it's a foreign adversary. The next question is, what are they looking for or searching? It's not difficult. It's not a far-fetched idea.
And, when I think of a drone, you think of like it's got the four, it's almost like a little helicopter with the four rotors. Do these look different than that?
They look different. They almost look like a U-shaped or a V-shaped. They didn't make a sound. It was, a couple 100 feet above us. You just didn't know what you were looking at. It was moving across the sky very quietly. And we kept saying to each other, like, Nick and I, like, what are we looking at? Like, are you getting the shot, and what the heck are we filming? There's a couple shots you can see where you can see that it's fixed wing, and it doesn't look like a plane. It almost looks like inverted. It sounds crazy as I say this now, Brian, like that's what you're seeing on the screen. That's what we were seeing right above our heads, and it happened till about 11:30 at night, and then it started to like die off, and I was like, we can stay out here all night, but I went to bed. This is my community.
Now, Dakota, people are looking and saying, they're obviously pretending that they don't see what we see, so maybe that's because they're so frightened by what is actually happening here, which is military aircraft, drones, manned or unmanned, looking for this nuclear material that went missing. And we saw the report that a Cat 3 material went missing from some truck or something in transport. And that's what they're looking for in Jersey. Nukes.
We're in a different technological age, and you know, there are these drones around, right, that were not around before. And we also have the heritage of the Cold War with the nuclear arsenals that were built then, and you know, smaller arsenals are around today. And obviously radiological materials are part of our lives in medical settings and other settings. So looking at this document from the New Jersey EPA, it looks like basically what they're saying is that there was a small component from a medical scanner which uses germanium-68, which is a radiological material, but this small item has gone missing in transit. If you read the document itself, it underscores very, very clearly that there's minimal health risk from this. So just based on that document, I wouldn't be concerned about a risk to the public. And frankly, I wouldn't connect that up with the drones at all. There are no facts I've seen in the public record that would suggest that there's some sort of search underway for this piece, this component from some medical scanner, right? Using some sort of secret drone operation. Much less there's, some government entity which is using drones off New Jersey to look for a loose nuclear weapon. I mean, there's just so I've worked nuclear issues my career over 30 years, including focusing a lot on the question of loose nukes out of the former Soviet Union. And there's nothing in the public record today that suggests that we are at a greater risk from a Soviet-built nuclear weapon than we were 2 weeks ago or 15 years ago. And the United States worked closely with Russia for a couple decades after the end of the Cold War through the Nunn-Lugar CTR program to round up.
Let me stop you there, Dakota.
So, yeah.
Let me stop you there, because I understand exactly what you're saying, but you're also way beyond what people who are watching are going to be wanting. All they want to know is, are they looking for nukes now? You say no, good. But I'll end with a quick anecdote, Tim, that'll date me, but Dakota will impress you. You were just saying the past senators Nunn and Lugar, they did a bipartisan, go to Russia and help them clean up their biologics and get rid of any small suitcase-style nukes they're worried about. I did a story for them. They asked the media, why don't you cover this instead of chasing after our girlfriends all the time? I went to Russia, to outer Siberia, a place called Shucha, and in a barn, this is not a joke, I'm not exaggerating any of this, in a barn that they sealed with a wax seal and a piece of rope at night is where they kept their chemical weapons. On wine racks that went all the way back in this huge barn, that was their security for those. I was part of that. You were right then, they were worried about it. It was the last time our government worked together because of a bigger concern than their own.
The drone is approaching an orb, and when it gets close, it falls out of the sky.
A green flash, and when she moved quick around it to get it. Super quick. He's like right on it. Ooh, that whatever it was just shut down the drone, if that was a drone.
So we've got through the story, you know, drones, scanning, looking for radioactive materials, missing radioactive materials, you know, nothing to worry about, just drones scanning the area. Now we're going on to what people who live in New Jersey and New York are catching on camera, or people, the first clip we're about to watch, mate, is a woman recording off her mobile phone from a plane. Absolutely insane. This is not the footage we're seeing pushed on the news. This is the footage we're seeing from people living close by. Totally different to these large drones moving slowly over skies. These are, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 orbs all together moving. It just looks completely different for me. For me, it looks completely different. Subscribe to the channel, man. I really appreciate it, guys.
I'm live streaming. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. They're switching sides all up. One's going down, one's going up. Oh wait, they're both going down. Trent, this is crazy. What is that? Some new alien technology or something? Like, I ain't never seen no colors like that. No, nothing like that. No, that's not airplanes. That's not airplanes. That's not like. What the freak? It's like 5 of them in one spot like this. You're like doing like a. And then 2 of them went down. You see them? They disappeared. What is going on with little? There's switching spots and everything.
1. Ayan na yung 5. Ayan na ulit 5. Diyan ba yan? Mabait daw dito ba? Bakit parang ano sala? Ibot dito. Wow, what a sweet.
This is happening right now here in the Philippines. What are these? Someone explain what is this? What's going on? This is not normal.
Hi, Nako.
This is crazy, guys.
Mag-voice message ka na lang.
Oh my God. Y'all, the UFOs, the drones in New Jersey are chasing these things. That the drones are not plasmoids, and I 100% agree. Genius. So what the F are plasmoids? I'll tell you. Okay, plasma is the fourth state of matter. It is in plasma balls, it is lightning, it is ionized gas that creates fluorescence when the electrons are flurrying around the nucleus and they're free. Crash course on plasma. Non-plasma, plasma, free electrons, not super tied to the nucleus. This can create fluorescence, which is in the aurora borealis, lightning, fluorescent light, neon lights. Plasma is also the sun and any star. Plasma has to do with sacred geometry, and now let's get into plasmoids. There are several theories that plasma is intelligent, including the intelligent plasma hypothesis by Dr. Massimo Teodorini, who is an astrophysicist, and of course an electronic musician, because plasma is sound. There's also a book, A New Science of Heaven by Robert Temple, which is literally about the science of plasma transforming humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. It talks about plasmoids. And then this is Dr. Massimo's book about consciousness and plasma. So basically these plasmoids have literally been studied since the 50s. There are several and physicist papers on plasma. Just Google plasma UAPs. You can also look up this and this in the Journal of Modern Physics about new studies on plasma and plasmoids. This was recent.
So she sees one of these orbs. She has a Nikon P1000 camera, which is a really good camera. She's gonna give it a good zoom in, and apparently these things are organic. They're not mechanical. But the craziest part is she's going to try to talk to this thing.
See if I can zoom in more. I know I can, but my fingers don't work. Can you talk to me? Can you hear me? God is good. Oh, you know Jesus.
If you can hear us, just bring it out, please. Say to the aliens in the sky, we love you, we welcome you. We love you, we welcome you. It blinked. It blinked. Did you see that? Yeah. It's blinking in and out.
And what would be the fuel?
Well, plasmoids. Plasmoids, as it says here, are donut or toroidal-shaped clusters of net protons or net electrons that once captured and placed into a toroidal orbit are capable of absorbing, storing, and releasing enormous amounts of energy within their self-generated and structured electromagnetic containment field. Plasmoids, in effect, function as an atomic battery that can be self-charging due to its ability to convert matter to available clean energy. So it's a lot to get into, and I think it would take us kind of off what we're here to talk about today.
At least what's promising is that there is some, at least, research or understanding.
And it's actually quite mature at this point.
Mm.
And in order to avoid the kinds of fate that befell Tesla and Reich, Robert Oppenheimer, Victor Schauberger, and so many others that were working in these fields, all kind of converging on this same insight. It's been conducted in secret. The laboratory that they've been developing this is in the Maldives, so that it's been immune from.
Over Somerset County in New Jersey 2 days ago. Look at this. This is straight from Star Wars, mate.
I've been seeing them at like 4 in the morning. Have you?
Listen to it too.
Twice.
That's very. I mean, that is the exact sound I heard the other morning.
Hear it?
Yeah. That is just
It's like a whirling.
It's just like that. It's gone.
This reservoir in Fairfield County, Connecticut, becoming the spot for several strange sightings. First, we heard from police officer Robert Klein, who recorded this video of lights in the sky after he says the initial light flew away from his police cruiser back in 2022.
There was a really strong light. It lit up the entire cab of my cruiser to the point where I was having a hard time driving because I really couldn't see. I was blinded by it. It was a perfect sphere, and it almost looked like plasma moving constantly. And I was perplexed and confused at what I was looking at.
Reenactment video shows what Officer Klein says he saw. He was barely into the midnight shift when he says his patrol car was filled with a bright light. It changed colors and then zipped across the reservoir.
I've been doing this job for 25 years. I've seen my fair share of drones, meteors, and everything else. And I knew that this was something that I've never come across. It wasn't a drone, I can guarantee you that. And it was something I still to this day, I'm perplexed. And like I said, I was fairly close to this thing, 30 feet. I got a very close-up view of it, and I froze. I wasn't in fear. I just was really trying to understand what exactly I was looking at. And to this day, I'm just perplexed.
This inconspicuous little granite stone right here. It's right here at the security at the South End Hall. But this was set by the Masons, March 19th, 1994. If you look closely, New World Order Airport. Okay? So there used to be these murals on the walls and these gargoyles hanging off the corners, but God's underneath here is a bunker big enough to keep 50,000 people alive for 5 years. This is the Noah's Ark right here, Denver Airport.
It's my birthday. I'm not turning 42. I'm turning 5 this year. I'm turning 5 years old. And I have to go to kindergarten tomorrow. Baby strawberry, a very, very cute baby cake that my friend. It really kind of hurts my feelings that the paparazzi make my face look like I'm wearing like a white Jason mask. It doesn't even look like me. They've always been incredibly cruel to me. The paparazzi and pictures and the way they've illustrated me to be in some of it. I know I'm not perfect at all by any means, but some of it was extremely mean and cruel. And that's why I've moved to Mexico.
Well, there you have it, mate. You know, hopefully Brittany's okay because we all love her, but that voice sounded creepy. Yeah, I'm creeped out.